Hey Joyce, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Rachel. It's so amazing and it's so lovely to be in your wine cellar with you.
I know, isn't it the best? We're just having a party.
Yeah,
So, welcome to the
yeah.
party.
Bring your drinks. Yes.
Awesome. Well, why don't we just start off with you telling us a little bit about you?
Well, I am Joyce Van der Lely and I'm originally from the Netherlands, from Holland in Europe. And I live in New Zealand, right on the other side of the world. So, um, quite a few years ago, we decided to move to a better place a better place, a nicer place with more space. And we found that here, and it's a really, really beautiful country, but it doesn't have a lot of people.
Mhm.
So after settling in and getting our, feet on the ground, we thought of starting a business, which we did, and we actually experienced a whole set of earthquakes. So we lost everything we had
Wow.
in 2010, 2011. Just to cut a long story short a little bit, yeah. So yeah, that's a wake-up call. When something like that happens, it's what are you going to do next? And so that has really, really shifted and changed everything in our lives. By that time, we also had two kids. Um, and a year after the first quake, we decided to move from the South Island where we were living to the North Island because the forecast for the rebuild of the city was going to take so long. It looked like it was going to take forever, and it's still not done. So we made the right decision to move. We initially thought it would be nice for the kids to give them a stable ground and space to grow up in through their teenage years. But in hindsight, of course, it is also a really good decision for us and for me. Um, the thing is, though, that when we came here and we had to start really all over from nothing, we had to really revisit everything in our lives. And in the end, I became the sole provider of the family, which is great. I mean, I don't have to cook anymore. I love food, but I don't really like cooking so much. So, we swapped roles, and I started to work more and explore more of what I was doing and really growing. And that's you don't always get that opportunity. Not everybody. I mean, not I'm not just saying women, but any partner. I think in a relationship, you don't always get the opportunity to fully see what you are capable of, and I feel that I have that now. So it's kind of special.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, tell
Some
us about your business. What is your business model? What are you doing?
so initially, when I've always had brick and mortar businesses. Back in Holland, when we first came to New Zealand, I think I started about five. I did startups. I took businesses and grew them, and but it's nice to start a new business. So I've always done that, but they've always been brick and mortar businesses. So physical with with the clients, with the customers, with the people that you work with, always always in real life. And when we lost so much, and when we came here where we are now on the North Island, the same thing happened. Like I first started with my brick and mortar business again, and I grew that really fast and to a limit, because there's a limit. I mean, as a person, you can only work so much, and the field I'm working in, I'm working in a teaching capacity, so it always has to be me. So there's a limit to what you can do. And then I started to think about that. How can I branch out online? Because that is where the world gets bigger.
Mhm.
New Zealand, and the area where we are in only has so many people as well. So there are limits, the amount of people that there are, the amount of clients that you can find, and also the amount of hours that you as a person can work. And so that's when I started online, adding the online factor to it. So I'm growing. I'm growing what I've done in real life in my brick and mortar business, and I'm growing that and it's flourishing into something that is bigger. So
Okay.
also there, it gets more, more different aspects are joining what I started. So that is just, it's flourishing. Yeah.
So what are you selling? How are you monetizing?
Okay. So I sell my expertise. I do a lot of mindset work
Okay.
through art. So I've always worked in the creative field and in art, and I teach art, and I teach art. I do art healing and art therapy kind of projects as well. So through the earthquakes, I needed that myself very, very much. And I'm so happy that I had that, because I never really needed any medication or anything to get through my emotional state. So I used my journaling and my art to go through. I know that I use that always to go through hard spots. So so I developed more of my own programs to use creativity and art through your mindset and your heart's your hard experiences, your difficult experiences. So that is what I teach. I teach art, and I do art therapy and art healing programs with my clients. And so when I started working a lot more with the mindset and realized that that is a big part of what makes me successful, what has made me successful every time again. And I'm sharing that with my clients now. So I coach them when they want to start a new business, when they have started and they get stuck, all those kind of things. But I mainly work with multi-passionate creative women, because we are somehow wired a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
talk to us about mindset. What's some of the mindset work that you do, and why is it so important?
Well, the important thing, and here again for the multi-passionate creative women, we get sidetracked so easily. We are very, very prone to suffering from this shiny object syndrome. We like many things, and it's hard to stay focused. So there are so many exercises that I've created to just stay focused. Focused on one thing. You make your decision, and how to make your decision, how to actually sort through everything that's going on inside of you, and make the decision of where you want to go. Sort through everything, because everything looks so delicious and nice to do. So it's a lot. It has a lot to do with clarity and focus, and then also persistence, determination. Just as a solo, most women entrepreneurs, when they start, they're solo entrepreneurs. They start without a team around them. So how do you manage your days? How do you manage your weeks? How do you manage your programs? If you have an idea, how do you actually plan that in so that it's going to be a success? So those things, and there's a lot of steps where you will find that if you don't think about or get your head clear on that is what I need to do next, then you're gonna fall off the wagon all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
We're very much like, I think, like the multi-passionate women that I work with, the clients that I work with, they're very much so that, instead of walking in the middle of the road and going where they're going, they sort of wander on the fringes there on the sides, there's banks, and look at all the pretty things and stop and forget why they are there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so those are the mindset things. It's just constantly reining yourself in, constantly being aware of where you're going. Yeah.
Do you have a daily practice that you follow?
Me? Yeah. I actually, in the morning, I found it very hard, because that's another thing. I used to always just go with the flow, whatever, but I've noticed that if I have a daily practice, then my head doesn't get so wild and spinning out of control. So there are spaces in my day where I let myself go like that still. But in the morning, for instance, I do have my hot lemon drink always. I do have I actually start brushing my teeth with my left hand. I'm a right-handed person. So I start my day brushing my teeth with my non-dominant hand to wake up my brains.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a little trick that I learned in a brain mindset. It's actually a brain course, like to stretch your brain, to see what your brain can do.
Yeah.
And it's a Jim Quick course, and it's really interesting because he said start brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand because it wakes up your brain, and then you're open. And it actually is strange. I mean, in my art, I do a lot of non-dominant hand work as well. So now I do that. Brush my teeth with my non-dominant hand, and then I have my hot lemon juice, and I listen to my. I have a sound file that I really enjoy. It's not a guided meditation. It's just noise sounds, nature sounds mostly, with some strings behind it, and I just listen to that, and that just calms me down and sets me up for the day. Because then my kids wake up and they will come, and
It's crazy.
They're teenagers now, so they're not as crazy as little kids that run around you, but they're awake and they want to ask you things, and it's different with kids in the house. So yeah, I do those things before my kids wake up. And then after that, I do my day pages. Sometimes, if I can, I squeeze them in after my sound file, like I do my morning pages, just to get my thoughts out, see if I can, write out some memories of my dreams. If I can, I think it all has to do with calming down and diving within.
Mm-hmm.
I think that connection in a busy world that we are all in sometimes gets lost.
Yep.
And all the opportunities that I now get to actually calm down and reflect within, I take those, because I notice that they really keep me grounded and make everything clear.
I love that. So if you're brand new to journaling, so I think that's what you're referring to when you mean the daily pages. Okay. So if you're brand new to journaling, how should we start?
With a book.
Yeah.
With a pencil or a pen. It doesn't really matter. You don't really need all kinds of fancy things. A lot of people think that they need to go out to the supply store and get all kinds of things. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. You can, you could even go to an op shop or a thrift store and get an old book and just write or paint in that. So my daily pages, the morning one, I've got a separate journal for my morning pages. In my morning pages, I mainly just write. It's just writing down whatever is in my head. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter if it makes sense. It's not really a story for anybody. It is just for me to let go. It's basically dumping my stuff onto a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Sometimes I draw in it, doodle in it. Depends. I try to look over. We have a lovely view here where we live, and I love watching the sky and what the clouds are doing and things like that. And I just write. Not too long, maybe 2 pages, sometimes 3.
Yeah.
But my art journaling, I combine my writing with drawing, painting, collage. You can use anything, really. That's the thing. You don't have to be a great artist to start journaling. Mm-hmm. You just write stuff that keeps your thoughts, your head occupied at that moment, and then you can, if you see a magazine or a newspaper and you see an image that draws your attention for some reason, and usually there's a reason why it draws your attention, just cut it out or rip it out and glue it on, and start from there. And you just let it organically grow, and write things down. And if you have an image that captures your curiosity, glue it in and write down the first word, for instance, that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. They're all like little instant things that you can start. But the main thing is starting. Start doing stuff, because Picasso said inspiration will hit you while you're working. Yeah, and that's true. A lot of people that's the first hurdle they have when they start doing anything creative. They sit and think, and they go, I don't have any inspiration. I don't know what to make or what to start. The thing is, just start. Just start,
Yes.
because then it will. It's like a little snowball at the top of a hill. You just let it roll, and then it grows. And then don't think about what comes. Just let it go.
I say that all the time when people have all these different business ideas, and I just tell them to just start, and then you'll kind of figure out what you like to do as you go along.
Yeah. So that's exactly the same. And but there are a lot of things on the way that you can pull out of the art journaling. A lot of good things for your soul and for your mind. Yeah.
Love it.
Many people don't really open up to that because of preconceived ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How would you suggest we bust through our limiting beliefs?
Bust through them.
Yeah.
With great force. Yes.
Yeah.
Just start. You start with looking at what your limiting beliefs are. That is the one thing that again a lot of people don't see, because it is ingrained into your life. And often we have people around us that actually reinforce them, and not always because they mean to harm you or whatever. It's usually well meant. Usually they're well meant advices, and that if we take those on board. So first of all, you need to start realizing what your limiting beliefs are.
How should we do that?
Well, by starting to ask yourself questions.
Okay.
You need to start asking yourself questions and get very clear on what it is that you want. I usually give my clients a little, visualize yourself with a magic wand, and then there are no limitations. How do you magic your life to be? And be really honest, be really open and honest to yourself. And then whatever comes out, then try to apply the things in your life that would make that possible. And what do you need to do to make that magical world for yourself happen? And that is when you find, like, oh gosh, actually that is a block for me. That is something that is really difficult for me, because I spoke to somebody, for instance, and she said she just realized that she actually loves to self-pity herself. And she likes the reactions she gets from people when they pity her, and that is a huge thing, because the moment you realize that's the moment that you can actually start working on it and flip that thought.
Yeah. Okay.
But some of these limiting beliefs and some of these blocks, some are easy to crush, and some take repetition and a longer time to get through, because they seem to pop up again and again. Yeah. I mean, and I still have them. Everybody has them.
Yep.
And they always seem to find a way to come back. And the thing is to recognize them, and so that you can knock them on their head. Yeah.
Cool. What do you think is one of the biggest things that you've done that has made the biggest impact in your business? Just like one thing.
Just one thing.
Maybe two.
One thing.
Yeah.
Maybe two. The biggest thing in my business, letting go. Letting go is a big thing. I realized at some stage that I was a bit of a control freak.
Yeah.
Or maybe not really a control freak, but I like to be in charge. So I find it very hard to delegate. But that holds you back. There is if you always want to do everything yourself, then there is very much a limit to what you can do.
Absolutely.
And so letting go and delegating and being okay that somebody else does a certain part of your business, and not stop and think too long about it. You can instruct somebody to do something for you, and yes, they will not do it exactly the way you do it, but otherwise your business cannot grow.
Absolutely.
and you drive yourself to burnout,
Yep.
because that's what happens. Yeah.
Yep. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's really huge for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like to give everybody an actionable step that they can do on the show. What's something you think the listeners can do to move forward in terms of mindset? Is there just like a practice or something that you could recommend that they start with to really start working on their mindset?
Well, there's some really easy ones. You can, for instance, start with setting yourself little goals each
Mm-hmm.
morning. Or you start, for instance, on a Sunday when you sit down, you take a piece of paper and you have like a little planner for the week. If you give yourself little things it's really strange because it's just tricking yourself. Little things that you can achieve in a day. And if you put little things in each day that you can achieve on a little piece of paper or on a chart, and you stick it on your fridge and you can actually tick it off,
Mm-hmm.
then, you start the day and you look at your list. You can add more things to your list, but have something really achievable. Do that thing first,
Yeah.
first thing in the morning, because you wake up and you do your thing in the morning, because not everybody has the same routine. Some people like to do yoga, some people like to do meditation, and some go for a walk. That's all fine. You do your thing in the morning, and then you look at your list, and there's that little thing that you can do. And it's a silly thing because you can do it. So why
Mm-hmm.
is it there? Doesn't matter. You do that little task and you tick it off. There you go.
There
You're
you
set
go.
up. There you go. You're set up for a good day because you've already accomplished something.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people that set themselves huge goals or many, many goals. And by the end of the evening, it's like, gosh, I haven't done half the things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And they constantly tell themselves, I haven't done this yet. I haven't done that yet. I still have to do this. I still have to do that. And it's like overwhelm. They create overwhelm for themselves. And then at the end of the day, they are not happy with themselves, and they tell them, they make themselves look small because they just push themselves down.
Yep.
So start your day with something that will pull yourself up,
Yep.
And also another little thing that you can try, it takes a little bit of practice, is when you talk, try to talk in positives.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, there are so many people, you will be surprised if you start paying attention to it. There are so many people that talk in negative words the whole time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I always try to correct people when I hear them say something. I'm like, you're not speaking life over yourself. And so
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
make that little subtle shift, and it makes such a big difference.
Yeah. Like the other day, there was this lady and she said, oh, this isn't half that bad.
Yeah.
I said, what are you saying? You can say, this actually is really nice.
Yeah.
You say the same thing, but your sentences has 2-3 negatives in it, and my sentence doesn't,
Right.
only has positives.
Yeah.
And try to catch yourself. It's a constant practice, but
Yep.
it helps. And
Yeah.
some people say, oh yeah, just don't be silly. That's, but it does.
Words have
you know?
power. I
Yeah.
absolutely believe that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
What does it mean for you to make an impact?
if I can reach more women to feel independent, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying, women need to be alone without a partner. It's not about that. It's about feeling independent, to make their own choices, to be in charge of their own life and their own decisions and their own future.
Mm-hmm.
So, meaning that it pains me to see a woman not being able to make a decision because of work or family or a partner or a friend or whatever is in her life that holds her back from making a free choice.
Mm-hmm.
I like independence is huge for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I realized that, having done a lot of work myself, I realized that it has been important from when I was little, very small. That freedom and independence, the feeling of being free and independent of anybody is important for me. So I like to help as many women as I can to get that feeling. And it pains me to see any woman to that can't be like that. So yeah, so that's my impact I want to make. I want to just, yeah, I can put a figure on it. I don't know. Maybe I can say like 5,000 in the next year.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
I've got a thing in my, I don't know. The whole business started with F words. So
Really?
look, it's the fierce female force and find your force. And so fabulous. I'm just looking for really good F words. So 5,000 fabulous females, right?
There you go. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what's next for you?
What's next? I've got my 4th online event coming up soon. I've got a program in mind. That's going to be huge. Which I will want to launch at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the end of the year. I think 2018 is some kind of magical year.
Yes.
And I'm building this really cool program, which is which I want to achieve and ready by the end of the year. Yeah.
That's exciting.
And that is something that all the people, all my tribe will, they know that I'm creating always. And they've been asking me for certain things. So I'm trying to include all those parts. It's going to be like like an octopus kind of program. Because I am creative and working with a lot of multi-passionate women, we have a lot of things that are really interesting, Mm-hmm. So I like to include those kind of things into my program, so that they don't feel like they are cut off of all their shiny objects. Mm-hmm. So that they will be included. So I'm trying to magically weave them together, so that they are in one program that they can just tap into little bits on the side, without falling off their focus.
Okay.
And so so I'm trying to weave this all together. Well, I'm working to weave this all together. So I'm weaving at the moment.
That's exciting. Yeah. Awesome. So where can we connect with you?
On my site, like I'm everywhere, really. You can I've got a difficult name maybe to pronounce, but if you Google me, you can find me. But thefiercefemaleforce.com, that's my website. And then I'm on Facebook as well and on Instagram. Once you found me, everything is connected. So,
okay. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, and if you're in New Zealand, you can come visit me. I also still have a studio.
Okay.
Where I work with local people. And I've got more ideas planned, so it's going to be huge. Yeah.
Yay. Cool. Well, we'll put all of your info in the show notes so people can reach out to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for being on and sharing your wisdom with us. We really appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been amazing. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Talk soon.
Okay. Bye.